Hey there, do you ever struggle with insecurity or feel unsafe? Perhaps there's some situation going on with your partner. Some humans even feel as if they don't belong at Earth School. What am I doing here? I don't belong on the Earth. I'm alien. I'm foreign to this plane of existence. My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is rooting in. The root chakra, Muladhara, the base of the chakra system that was first spoken of in the Vedas, speaking of energy centers, meaning kingdoms or wheels within the system, which was 500 BC to 1500 BC. In the Vedas, it was mentioned, but it's also mentioned in the Yoga Upanishads, this concept of chakras or having energy centers. And Muladhara, which is the root chakra, it is the base of the inner system of chakras that are present in the physical body. It represents feeling grounded or rooted in to belonging on the earth. It brings one a sense of security, a sense of safety. I feel secure in my being. I feel secure in who I am. I feel safe to exist. I feel safe to be a part of this room, safe to be a part of this plane of existence, and to be present here. And when Muladhara is out of balance, two-leggeds typically can have sex issues, which can be tied to Svadhisthana, sacral chakra as well. But they can also have issues with money or engaging in the physical world in a way that prospers and proliferates, like the bounty that births forth from the earth. So someone might struggle with financial prosperity or being able to produce bounteous, copious amounts of things. They might struggle with their worth and their value. They might struggle with understanding that they are safe and it is okay. They might feel super insecure. They might feel afraid. There may be reasons for that. However, even if we have experiences that cause us to not want to root into this realm because we've had traumas, trials, tribulations, one thing Heather Feather always advises is for each individual to do their shadow integration work, meaning I look at that slice of my being that I don't want to look at, that slice that I want to judge, that piece of me that I don't want to own because I don't want to be that character, and I integrate and I forgive myself and I allow myself to be a human having a human experience. A lot of that root shadow Jungian work that Carl Jung would talk about, by acknowledging the slices of ourself that we might ignore or hide and therefore project, our egos might project it onto another because we can't accept this aspect of self, is one way to be more at peace with being here at Earth. Like sometimes we're not forgiving ourselves, sometimes we're not forgiving our experiences. I've had XYZ trauma, it's been too much, and I can't pull the lesson, the learning, the grace, the gift out of it, and I'm just triggered by that. And so we can remain in these super triggered states, but we can also do our work to integrate and allow ourselves to root into existing at Earth School. Heather is in a flesh costume, and I was raised by a metaphysician that gave me freedom of religion. And in that, one of the smartest things I've found, as metaphysics is one of the constructs and concepts I studied in my rearing, is to be like a scientist. If you want to really know your philosophy and know it intimately and know it well, be a scientist, experiment with it. And so one of the things we can do is experiment with balancing Muladhara, balancing the root chakra. It's one of the constructs that is present to understand the energetic dynamic that we want present in a healthy root chakra is an elephant stamping its feet on the earth. And if you can imagine the largesse, the heaviness of an elephant stamping on the earth, that's the energy you want your root to feel. I am grounded. I am allowed to exist in this clay costume. I am allowed to pretend reality is what Heather would call it, we know. But, I'm playing this game of I'm really here. Let me root in. Let me be present. And let me consider, are there any things that you're doing in your life, any choices that you're making that are causing you to be in a state of feeling unsafe? And since we are the director of our ship, we are the creator of where our arrow is pointed and the trajectory of the target we're going to hit with our life based on choices we're making. Are there any new choices you can make today to support you in feeling more secure and more safe? The reason all of the powerful words that have to do with healing begin with self is because a healed person is doing the individual work, self-esteem, self-regulation, like self-presence. You can put self in front of almost any word, and it's one of the things you can do to be in a healthier space, is to regulate yourself. Am I hot? Am I cold? Do I have needs? Am I overwhelmed by the energy? Do I need to be alone? And it's okay to take a moment, whether you're in a social situation or whether you are alone, to just root in, to imagine an elephant stamping in your pelvis. Imagine a red rose bloom and the petals are up, and I turn it into the earth and I allow those rose petals and that bloom to bloom into the earth. And so I just see red petals grinding into the earth in the base of my pelvis. And I might even see those petals grow roots and grab crystals and grab tree roots and different things like that to root in, to ground in. One can imagine oneself seated on a red mountain and feel this red charge. One can practice earthing or grounding, where one walks barefoot upon the earth. The earth is a huge magnet. It has electromagnetic field. We have an electromagnetic field. There are scientific tests that have been done, and the largest electromagnetic field that the body possesses is in not even our largest organ, the skin, but in the heart. And it is 3 meters outside of us. So horses is 5 meters, right? And so we can calibrate our electromagnetic frequency to that of the earth, and we can root in to being, for it to be safe, it to be okay, for us to feel secure, to exist in our bodies on the earth. This is something that Heather gets to regularly practice. I was going to the mountain every single day. I'm about to buy a new car, and I'm not really driving my car right now. And I look forward to going back there because for me, the difference in my own self-regulation, how grounded I feel, how present, how willing I feel to be on the earth, is very clearly correlated to how often I am spending time with the earth. And like a scientist, I've studied this. I've gone to the mountain every single day. And when I go every single day after work, I'm in my most regulated state. I start to make my healthiest choices. I start to really be a lot more present with how I'm treating the worth of myself, my physical body, my overall health. And so sometimes a simple practice of like, can you walk to your local park and just walk around it in a square 3 times a week or once a week? Or can you fold that into your life in some way so that you can root in and get grounded this day and be present with, like, I belong on the earth and I have a physical body, and moving my body and exercise has always been stated as one of the ways that we obtain optimal health is exercise and diet. Those are the 2 ways. But this simple action of, I'm going to start walking around the block 3 times a week. Heather was doing 100 sit-ups, 60 push-ups, 5 days a week, every day before work. I started folding in Qigong, and I now do Qigong every Tuesday and Thursday. And why do I do that? Because I have a very yang, very active, very dynamic, very fiery Sagittarius personality that's like, let's get the activity going. And it helps me to yin. And Qigong is a very yin practice, and I get to slow down and love my organs, and you know. And so it helps me to balance the energies of how I walk in the world and on the earth. But there are things we can do to aid the self to feel secure in our existence, to better understand our worth and our value. And one of the ways we can do that is through our energy centers. We can ground in by connecting to the earth. We can ground in by envisioning this chakra being cleansed. I like to imagine a crack in the earth and everything being pulled out of my body that no longer serves, and then blooming each chakra. And the invocation and the invitation today is to root into your physical body, to begin to embody all that you know and you be, to walk the talk and not just speak. I'm asking you this day if you will activate into rooting in with me so that you can feel more secure, safe, present, and willing to be in your flesh costume at our school. You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. Heather Feather always loves your thoughts. Amun.